In this video, I'm going to talk about content snippets within Power Pages. Now, what are content snippets? Content snippets are basically small chunks of editable content. The content can be editable if it is configured to do so. The content snippet are basically a reusable component and it contains HTML, liquid code, CSS, script, etc. It can also contain text just for static content. Now, it can be placed in header, footer, web page, or web template. HTML can contain liquid code. Content snippets, where it can be used, is basically in a page, in a list, in a basic form, in a multi step form, in a web template. Now, these are the syntax for content snippet. Now, you need to be very careful while looking into the syntax because it's a bit different for different entities. So, if you see the first syntax, it says snippets, and then you put the snippet name over here. So, there is two curly braces. Okay. Now, here, if you want to make this snippet editable, then there's one curly braces and percentage sign, and then it says editable snippets. And at the same time, the square bracket is missing. You just put it in a single quotes, and that's it. Okay. And also, there is another parameter which says type colon HTML, or you put a default colon some value, because if you edit a snippet and if there is no value, then it will take that default value. Another syntax is you can include the snippet name, and then you can reference the snippet name within your code. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick demonstration on that. Okay, now where do we find the content snippet? You will find that in the Power Pages Management backend side. So on the content section, you will find content snippets. Now let me go into the page and quickly create one page and call it as content snippet demo. Okay. Now I'm creating a fresh content snippet demo. Now here, what I'm going to do is like I will make use of some components. Okay, so first let me create a content snippet. Okay, now if I click on new, I will be able to create a new content snippet. Let me name this content snippet. Let me call it as CS-text. Okay, just for example. Which website? The neon website which I'm currently using. What is the display name? This is fine. This you can put anything. I'm just putting CS-text. Type is text. Okay, and the language is English. Okay, and the value I'm going to put is copyright 2023, all rights reserved. So if you have any static content to be displayed in the website, and then if you want to change it over a period of time, you can make such content snippet and then reference this content snippet within your site. So I've created a CS text which is of type text. Okay, I can also select HTML, which I'm going to do in the next content snippet. So let me save this first, and now I'm gonna do a save and close and click on new, and then I'll say I'll create another content snippet which is cs-html, and website is again the neon site. Display name is cs-html. Type is HTML now. Okay, content language is English, and let me put a simple HTML text. I'll just put div, and then I'll close this div, and I make a bold, or maybe H1, and bold H1, that's fine, and then I'll just put my name over here. Okay, so this is how I have put the HTML content snippet. Okay, so this is what my HTML looks like with a simple HTML, and then I will reference this HTML in my code. Okay, now I have two content snippet. One is cs-html and cs-text belonging to a different data type, as you see over here. Now let's see what's the difference between those things. Let me go into the Design Studio content snippet demo, and let me do one thing. Let me first uh, edit this code. Okay. Now before I edit this code, let me sync this up so that the changes are persisted within the Power Pages environment. And once it is done, I will edit the configuration code. I'll edit the backend code. Okay. Now, before I edit the code, I need to go into the content snippet and try to find out what is the name cs-html and cs-text. Okay. Um, Now this is all synced up. Let me go ahead and edit the code. So it will open Visual Studio Code in the browser, and once this page loads up, you get that uh, page opened, which you have created, which is content snippet demo. Okay, let me uh, do some edits, and then let me put some div tag. Okay, now I'll put a div tag which is slash div, and then I will try to put some margin around it. Okay, so let me put style equal to, and see, margin dash left, colon, maybe say 50 pixels. Okay, 50 pixels, and that's it. Okay, so my div style equal to margin dash left 50 pixels. Okay, now that's the div which I'll be using. Now let me copy this because I might have some more content coming up. Okay, so that's what the div is all about. Now, first thing, we will render the snippets. So let me put this code as snippets, and snippet name was cs dash uh, text, right? Cs dash text and cs dash html. So cs dash text and then cs dash html. Okay, so this is how the snippets will look like. Okay, now before we put the snippets, we need to have the double curly braces. Okay, and this is the liquid code for rendering a snippet of text type. Let me render this as well, and then call it as cs-html. So I have two html, one html and one text snippet. I will leave this section just open as of now. Okay, and then just save this. I'll do a control s. Once I do the control s, this code gets saved, and I go into the studio and I sync this configuration. Once that configuration is synced, I'll try to run the page and see whether the snippet codes are displayed or not. Now, if you see here, it is already showing me here the custom component, which is Girish Uppal. And then I can easily say that now the snippets are being rendered correctly. So cs-html, which is in h1, and cs-text. Okay. Now, where did the cs-text go? Cs-text. Okay. So let me just save this again. Sync the configuration. I'm able to see cs-html, but I'm not able to see cs-text. So cs-text was basically copyright 2023, all rights reserved. Okay. And once the configuration is synced, I think you should be able to see the changes which we made. Okay, so now it is rendered as just an HTML component. Uh, Let me do one thing for this text, cs-text. Let me put this in double quotes and see what happens. Now, double quotes I think will not work. cs-text, it's all correct. It's all correct over here. Or maybe, yeah, it's rendered somewhere here, like so. This cs text is already rendered over here. Now, if you see over here, you can't do any edits like cs text, this is a text, and this is a HTML. Now, uh, if you want to make this editable, then there is some syntax change we may need to do. Now, what is that syntax change? Like, what I'm going to do is, like, I'm going to quickly create a cs dash editable HTML. Let me copy this code. Okay, and then let me create a new content snippet called as cs slash editable HTML. This is my editable HTML, and this is that same HTML, but then I will call it as, say Tom Hanks, okay, in the H1, and the website is, say, Neon. Display name is cs dash editable HTML, same, and then type is HTML, and the language is English. So I save this. Okay, so I have a new HTML which I want to make it editable now. Okay, now again the syntax will differ. Okay, the syntax will differ. Now, how the syntax will differ? Now we can't use double curly braces. We need to use one curly brace and percentage sign. Okay, so this is the syntax. Now, how do you make it editable? Is one is you need to make it uh, editable, editable, and then we just name the snippets. So snippets, and you put the snippets in a single quote. Okay, so the snippets in single quotes is basically cs dash, I think the name was editable HTML. So let me copy this and paste it over here. Cs dash editable HTML. So now this is the syntax to make it editable. Let's see what happens. I save this changes, and before I make this change, there is one more thing which I may have forgotten. Let's put as a default. Okay, if you put the default will say hello. Okay, now if you don't put anything, then default will be defaulted to hello. Okay, I just save this now. Okay, overwrite those changes, and again make the change. It's all persisted now. Go here, sync it. Now, the moment I sync that, the editable HTML code should be made visible. Okay. So what we have done is we have created a new content snippet called as a cs-editable HTML, which is here. Okay. Now the difference between this and this is, now if you see here, this is rendered as a custom component because this was not editable. This is editable. So what happens if you click here? I can make that change. Okay. Now, so let me name it as, say, Tom Justin Hanks. Okay, and maybe color this, or maybe just bold this part, and maybe put a color around it to be, say, some color. So maybe orange. Okay, and save this. Okay, so once I save this, this is already saved. Let's go into the content snippet and see what has happened over here. Now, see, this was the earlier page for us. Okay, cs dash editable HTML. Let me go back and open this again. And you might have seen this HTML code has changed. Now it has taken whatever changes we have made over here. Okay, so it added those relevant css and the tags. Okay, so so that's all about editable snippet. So the difference between editable snippet and a normal snippet is the syntax. The one is the syntax. It will not make use of double curly braces. Second, you need to have the editable keyword. Third is you don't need to put the square bracket. And the fourth, this is very much important, default text should be hello. Okay, or default can be anything, but you just need to put the default value, because if the snippet doesn't find any content, then it will default to this text. So that's all about content snippet. With the content snippet, you can render a static content as you see over here. You can render an HTML content as you see over here, and you can render an HTML editable content within your portal. Now, you might have seen that when you provision a Power Pages site, the header, you can change the title. Now what that title is basically an editable title. Okay, so it's same as what we have created over here. So it's just a design friendly component which you can add in your Power Pages site. Thanks for watching.